All right, we might be back. Hey, Craig, talk for me real quick.
Hey yo, hey yo.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, 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 hello.
See, you're still
Hello, hello,
echoing.
hello, hello.
Give me a second. Talk again, G.
Hello, 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 hello,
All
hello.
right.
Hello,
Say
hello,
something
hello.
other than hello.
What's going on,
What's going on,
everybody?
everybody? This
Yeah, it's still echoing. All right, say something, G.
Hello, hello,
hello,
hello,
hello,
hello.
hello, hello.
What's going on,
What's going on?
everybody? How we doing today? Hello, what's going on? I can't hear you now, though.
All right, can you hear me now?
Barely.
Hello.
I mean, you're coming. I could barely hear you. Greg, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, maybe it's my phone. Hello? Hello, hello, hello. No one can hear me?
All right.
Who are you talking
All right.
to?
Can people hear
Craig,
me?
talk.
Yeah. Hey yo.
G, talk.
Hello, what's going on? Talking Nonsense about Impact Wrestling podcast.
There we go. Okay, so it seems like we fixed the echo. Sorry about that for everyone that was here previously. So we're going to go ahead. We are back
Oh, we're back
live.
live?
The echo seems to be gone
Oh,
from everything what everybody said. So, Craig, go ahead, give us our last question, and then go ahead and let's get G starting off.
So yeah. So do you think more wrestlers are re-signing with Impact, or are we losing more? Like, are we?
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I'll backtrack just to set myself up there. Yeah, with as I said, I mean, if you look at recent history, you're looking at Rascals, maybe Taya, and well, I think definitely Taya, and maybe Ethan. Uh, so, and I think what we're doing is we're focusing more, and not the wrong way, the old TNA style, but we're focusing more on bringing veterans in, which isn't a bad thing. We need that name recognition, especially if we're going to go to war. We'll talk about that later. Um, but are we developing as many people? I don't think as many as we have been. So when they leave, the losses are going to seem larger, is what I'm getting at. It's hard to debate that. We just re-signed Sammy, re-signed Sue. There's people we have re-signed recently that make me go back and forth on that question. But I think the key at the end of the day is when they get bigger than just development. In that level of, okay, maybe they're going to be a star next. Like when they get to Ethan Page's level, when they get to Sammy's, I think was a good example. But when they get to Brian Cage's level, can we keep them then? Or are we going to continue to give them the belt, they leave, and we move on? It's just, we have to find that perfect rhythm. I don't know if that answers the question. I'm a little off because of all this, but we're working through it. So
So,
does any of
no, it
that make
did.
sense?
I think for me, I
sense?
think I think we're in a situation where we have to see what happens with this AEW deal. Obviously, Impact, it's not one of the top two in terms of if you're talking like worldwide. I think people will get big and go to WWE, possibly New Japan, if you're looking to branch out in the past. But I think with this AEW deal, I think you're going to see a situation potentially where people will stay and you'll because they understand I can be an Impact. I may also be on AEW. And I think you'll see AEW wrestlers who maybe not doing anything in AEW say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and appear on Impact because it's just going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to grow to the point where they can bring in some guys, but I think when they get signed, you may see them possibly get signed either under AEW or Impact, but then cross over, which means you'll see the roster grow. Like, I guess not when I say roster, like the number of TV people will grow, but the actual roster itself from Impact may not necessarily continue to grow. But I don't think they're necessarily losing a bunch of people. They've just re-signed a bunch of guys, so I think it's natural that when you add a bunch of guys, for you to see some people leave at that point as well.
Right, no, it's turnover, and it's the wrestling business, so it's a healthy turnover necessarily because those people are getting jobs elsewhere. It's not just firing and moving on. We're bringing in new people. You need to make room for them. I say that all the time when people say, "Do you want? We should bring back Jake Christ or whatever. Great talent, great dude, and we'll get into him specifically. But are we going to invest our time in someone who's 34 to 38 like we've been doing, and hopefully they get to that next step, that next step in their career? Or do we just spend a little more and get someone that's the same age and is already established?" And you could see that that's the direction we're going a little.
Yeah, I agree. If you're going to look to bring guys on, especially older guys, they have to be ready to make an impact right then. You can't be bringing on somebody, like you said, who's 34 years old and is 3 or 4 years away from being from a title shot. If you need, you need either, unless they're guys who are like, hey, I'm coming here just for the sole purpose of, like, I'm going to be a mid-card guy. That's all I want to be. So, but yeah, I do think when you lose some guys, especially if they're older, it's not necessarily a bad thing, especially when you have some younger guys ready to take their place or even exceed where those older people were.
Well, and I think that's the thing. It's just like any sports. You want to have your farm system stockpiled. And I think to Craig's question, I think that's more the question is, do we have that stockpile and are we keeping them when their contract is done? The great thing is, I would say this. Does it suck to lose Taya? Does it suck to lose Ethan? Does it suck to lose the Rascals? It sure does. But at the same time...
I will have an opinion about suck to losing Ethan later on in this episode.
Okay, we'll talk about that. I imagine Craig went there. But yeah, let me try to remember. Yeah, so anyways, we lost all those people and it sucks. But compared to before when we lost, Bobby Roode and Eric Young, I was telling Craig that the other day that when we were doing our old podcast together, Max in Virginia, on air, we literally got off air and had to jump right back on because Bobby Roode and Eric Young left in the same day. And we were like, crushed. So there's moments like that, or when we lost EC3 to me, losing AJ, obviously. When we lose those people and it felt big. Right now, unfortunately, we're in a time where we're bringing so many people in that Taya and maybe Ethan and maybe the Rascals contribution isn't as
No, I agree.
needed.
It's a situation where you're like, man, it sucks to lose those people, but there's not a hole in the roster once those people are gone. They're basically like, oh man, I really wish that Ethan was still there, but someone else is just going to step in and you're not going to even realize. Whereas, like you said in the past, when you lost EC3, Roode, or AJ, you're like, oh man, you're like, well, that sucks. Misery Eater 101 did say there is a hole in the X division. I do agree with that. But I think that's something that, you can always bring guys in, and especially if this AEW thing works out, you could add talent in through the X division that way. So, but I do agree that right now there is a hole in the X division with the Rascals or whatever they're called.
Well, even if the AEW thing continues, I'm one of those people that, even though I know it's a work and it's a show, I'd rather have people that are Impact flag waving bears be the center of the attention in those divisions. So to his credit, yeah, we do need some X division, but I don't think we have a hole. I think we just need a reworking. And I think, we have some people that are there that, aren't being used, I won't say correctly, but aren't given the chance to step up yet. We're obviously bringing Bay back down to help out here and Ace as well. Could it help bringing in one of those guys like a Blake Christian? hell yeah, it would. It's
Yeah.
never going to hurt. But I think what the X Division needs is for it to be redefined again, whatever that means. But to say, hey, this is our up and coming. As much as that TV title was beautiful, whoever posted that was a Lucha in our chat group. Even if we don't have a mid card title, this is it. This is where the workhorses work. You get your name, you make your name, and you move up. But it's not really been established. No, with Stryker on board, I must mention before we move on, though, that Stryker does it. He has a very good ability to make stuff feel important. And I think he'll make the division feel more important rather quickly, even with maybe not as many.
That's true. And one thing in the chat, GS7_89 did point out that I agree with. Now when Impact is losing people, they've utilized them, and they're kind of at the point where you're like, okay, they did a bunch of stuff in Impact. It's not like they're leaving, and you're like, man, I wish this guy would have stayed for a little while longer because there's so much left I wanted him to see. So that's really a good point. All right, Craig, next question. Let's get to the next question here.
Yeah. So a lot of chat going on.
What?
I think so. Answer that question.
Yeah, I got the gist of an answer there. So, just simply thoughts on the Ethan Page comments.
I'm gonna jump and start with this. I'm assuming these are the comments where he posted that he was apologizing for how horrible his last match came out. And if that's the case,
yeah, saying Impact screwed him.
I'm glad he's gone, because if he can't see the greatness that was that match, he needs to just leave. That shit was the best thing I've seen in wrestling since AJ and The Undertaker, since The Undertaker killed AJ Styles and Anderson and Gallows back at WrestleMania. I think that was WrestleMania. But either way, that thing was great. I don't understand how he can say sorry. I don't know. I don't see the uncut version. Apparently his cut to it. Apparently he posted it, but part of what I liked about the video so much was that it was super corny. And like I thought like that's the whole, like, you're literally fighting yourself. Unless you make that like ultra super corny, it's going to come off as super dumb.
Well, I think you're touching to where my point is, and this one's going to go deep many levels, so I'm going to rebuttal really quick. That's why I think all of this is a work. I don't believe it, because as much as I don't want to admit this, I don't know if it's the second best wrestling match in 2021, as you stated on our last show. But it did its part. It was funny. I was not going into this happy about that being on the card. Let's be honest here. We love being transparent. If you guys are new to the show, transparency is key here. If it's biased, if it sounds biased, it's not. It's just our actual opinion, and we're open to other ones. With that being said, I enjoyed it. It was quick. It was easy. It was nostalgic with the Mortal Kombat stuff, and it was funny. The thing is, his other ones aren't super serious Oscar-winning things. So for him to say, I'm embarrassed by the quality of this editing that they made it an embarrassment. They made it a joke. I'm going away from social media because I've been lied to. That dude is not going away from social media. That's his moneymaker, right? And more power to him. And this isn't taking anything away from him or his accomplishments. I just think it says more to what he has done. He has made a following on social media. Why would he cut the tie there to possibly lose money when he's trying to feed his family? He makes quality stuff that is funny. That was quality and funny. And also, no one paid that to see Hard to Kill to see that. Let's be honest about that as well. Him saying, if you paid your hard-earned money because you wanted to see the...
No, I agree. Yeah, none of his fans were like, I've got to see this thing, and I agree. Like he was super petty about it. Him calling the editing high school, like, as H. Fullerton pointed out, like all that stuff that went into it though was what made it what it was. Like if somebody told me, hey Max, you're gonna fight your ultra ego on a pay-per-view, no matter what organization it is, I'm going to assume that that's going to be like the corniest thing ever. Outside of a situation where you have like Mick Foley and where he's interviewing all of them to where they're all on like different screens to something like that. But if you told me Mick Foley is going to fight Mankind and it's not going to be somebody dressed up as Mankind, I would assume it's going to be super corny. Like, there's no way to make
Right.
this. I don't know.
And that's the thing is I know you're saying he's petty and stuff, but he is being petty, but I think it's the character being petty. I don't really, at the end of the day, I honestly believe he still is with Impact Wrestling. Now, if you asked me a year ago, maybe a little bit more, when Cage and all them were hopping on the bandwagon of AEW and liking all their stuff and doing all that stuff, and that's their full right to do it. It's just me, once again, I want someone like Sammy who's waving that flag.
I don't know.
But that being said, yes, then I would say yes. But we're in such a good position now, to credit to what you said earlier, Max. You can work with AEW anyways. So why do you need to leave? Is it money based? I'm pretty sure if it's money based, then Impact isn't doing the right thing, going back to question one of putting the money where the mouth is. Because that guy is a buzzworthy guy. You can't take anything away from him in that regards. I don't think he's being petty. That's my personal opinion. I know nothing. I don't talk to him. I don't know anything of that. But just to see, and I know a lot of people said, well, I've seen him mad before. This is how he acts. He acts on social media to people he doesn't know. I don't know the real Julian, whatever his real name is, no offense, but you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I think you could say all day, we could speculate all day. I just don't think he would be that mad about. I'm going to give him too much credit and say whatever he made would be intentionally corny or not.
I don't know. I think he was intentionally mad. I just think going into that to think that that match was going to be anything other than super corny.
Wait, you think it's?
I think he's legitimately angry. I don't think this was a work that he's doing. I just think he's unfortunately an ass, and I think he thought that there should be some type of artistic integrity. Where's my camera? There it is. Artistic integrity with this thing, and he wasn't happy with how it came out. But I think that the way it came out is the way that any person who wasn't involved in that, like emotionally invested, was like, this is how this should come out. I just think because he was emotionally invested in it, I think he got upset.
Here's my problem with that. Besides all the other reasons I said, if I knew Ethan Page was leaving, right? I work for Impact. I want to get back at him, and I want to be a dick and ruin his artwork, his masterpiece. I could do it. Do you know what I mean? If I wanted to ruin who he is, as in, kind of get rid of his character or whatever it is, you just job him out and he leaves, and you treat him like you treated everybody else. They job on the way out. Goodbye. You don't need to kill him. I see a lot of people saying that. I can't actually see the chat room, but I mean, in our chat room and stuff, they needed a way to write him off the show. You did. The North lost. Josh punches him in the face. We call it a day. It's that simple. We don't need some big goodbye to Ethan Page. So I think at the end of the day, it's all over. At the same time, Ethan Page, as a businessman, if you're saying they're mad at me because I'm leaving, I know they're mad at me because I'm leaving. Why the hell are you giving them your baby masterpiece of you fighting yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. I think he, and maybe it's just him. I think maybe he felt like this would be a cool way to like go out, but I don't know. I think it was done incredibly well. Badly. Whatever. Either way, it was horrible to the point that it was great. Like that's. And I don't know. I mean, and obviously I know there's people in the chat saying they weren't a fan of him killing him off. Some people saying they thought it was necessary, and obviously, him killing him off. I mean, that may have been a little over the top, but obviously he recorded that, so he knew that part was planned. That him ripping out the heart thing. So it's not like they just digitally made that. So that was planned no matter what. But I don't know. Let's
just move on.
Either way, but
too much to something that doesn't matter that will come out as a work.
So
in 2 weeks.
Craig, next question.
Before we jump on, we have a lot of talk about this one. A lot of people are annoyed that we didn't get the North breakup like you suggested, and it's an interesting one. This one, but moving on. So, do you guys 100% trust AEW to not screw with Impact like they did with AAA. Let's go, Geoff. Back to you.
All right. I'll say no, and the only reason I'll say no is because I don't trust anyone 100%. It's just nature of the game. You got to leave 1%, even if they are. I'm not going to say it, but if they're in cahoots, I'll say that at least. I got flack for the Anthem exhibitions in wrestling, AEW reference last week. So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, with them, I don't think there's maybe a contract signed. I don't think they're owned by the same people. But Impact is obviously one, they know what they're doing. Let's be honest about that. Let's get that out of the way. Don Callis and Scott D'Amore have got us in a place that we never thought we would come back to, and we're not done yet. But they got us in a place where I really believe that they feel confident enough to let Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone or Jerry Lynn or whoever ex-TNA guy they're with come on our show and crap on it. You don't let them do that unless there's something worked out. Because if they peace out now and say, oh, you know what, we break ties, screw Impact, whatever. I mean, even though the AEW fans will stick with them, there's going to be some tweeners that are like, damn, okay, that's kind of messed up, right? So trust them. Yeah, you have to. Do I trust them 100%? Hell no. But there's definitely months and months of plans already worked out. And I could even say that maybe it was been done for quite a while. And I'll let Max talk, and then I'll get back to, I don't know if there's another AEW question on this or not.
So, I'm not sure, but we'll find out afterwards. Personally, I do trust them. I don't think that they're going to screw over Impact because, one, obviously Kenny Omega and Don Callis are friends. Don Callis has a lot of friends over there. I don't think he would go unless he's trying to screw over Impact and he's like, man, I'm gonna just effing leave and be done. I can't see a way where he's a part of Impact, Scott's a part of Impact. They let AEW in and just say, hey man, we're just gonna let you shit all over us and walk away. I trust those guys. Everything they've done has been good with the company so far. I think the partnership, they understand that there's an end game to this, and I don't think, and maybe it's just me putting too much trust in Kenny Omega and the Bucks and all them, but I don't think they would intentionally screw over their friend. If this was if this was a situation where it was WWE and they didn't like those guys, I'd be like, yeah, they're going to screw them over. But I can't see them just intentionally screwing over their friend because it's Impact isn't enough of a competitor to AEW that they're afraid that Impact's going to put them out of business. In the States, yeah. Yes. So I think that it just makes sense for them to work together, and I can't see them screwing over Don Callis just because.
Here's the other thing that, you're right. Well, the theory is that he's going to get out of his contract, and the way they're letting him do it is by doing this little thing to give us the rub, and then it ends. I don't believe that. I believe they have a 5-year plan. They're sticking to that 5-year plan, and this was part of it. With that being said, I'm not going to get into my conspiracy theory, as I already mentioned, but I will say this. If you write a plan, when they came into TNA, GFW, Impact, wherever they came in, and Don Callis, Anthem, they took it over. And let me get that point across too. For all of you people mentioning, and I do know we'll get to this one about the buyout. Okay, Anthem Exhibitions in Wrestling is just a subsidiary of Anthem. Anthem is worth billions of dollars. The Jaguars owner, the Khans, are worth $9 million. So please stop with the $9 billion, excuse me. Don't, this whole, we could, if they wanted to, Impact could buy AEW. I really believe that. I think that's fair. If you take the money that they have and you take the value of AEW. Won't happen, but it's not going to happen the other way either. But I think I'm getting a little too far ahead. So let me answer this though. If you're writing a 5-year plan to fix a company, right? And you say well, okay, the best thing we're going to do for us is get on a national television station and get back to our glory days of being on Spike TV, right? There's no one in hell, unless they worked for TNA back in the day, that now has a big position at a network, is going to touch the tainted, broken program that was Impact, GFW, TNA, Hulk Hogan Wrestling. It's just not going to happen. No, it wasn't going to happen. We're on TNT. Our names are on TNT. They're making digs at us on TNT. They're doing everything you would do, maybe not in the way we want it to, but they're doing everything you would want them to do to name drop for you to say, oh, wait, what's going on with Impact Wrestling? They're at least getting you thinking. You got to remember, we're on stage one of this partnership. There is no reason for AEW to mess with Impact. Okay? They are the Goliath. We are the David. There's no need for them to do it. So why would our guys be on their show? Only if, in kayfabe, they're invited, right? So eventually this is going to have to lead for our people to invade AEW. Why would Tony Khan just come over to Impact when he's invited, screw us over, and then say, oh, come back into my house? It's not going to – this is going to be a time thing. I know why people are scared of them screwing us over, but they're only showing us what they want us to see. It's a television show. If they said, oh, wow, that really hurt our feelings, that we don't have money or that no one knows we exist or we're on a crappy channel, they wouldn't have put it on air. They're not. There's no gun held to their head. You know?
I do agree with some people said it in the chat, and I do agree with this. Impact needs to, and I understand it's a long, drawn out process here. I feel like my camera. Okay, there we go. Long, drawn out process here, and we're at the very beginning of it. But Impact does need to score some type of a win, like Kenny Omega pins Swan, Private Parties getting a tag team title shot, like right.
They'll lose.
I mean, and hopefully they lose. Now, granted, the only reason I feel I have faith in the Good Brothers winning is because they're teamed with Kenny Omega, and there's zero chance they're dropping those titles to Private Party.
Doesn't matter.
But I still would like Impact to get maybe not a massive win, but maybe a small win, just so you can see, like, hey, we're not the little stepbrother of AEW.
I 100%. But I'm thinking on this level, in the storyline thing of it, if we score a win in the Impact Zone with no fans, what the hell does that win mean? Nothing, right? It's on our show. No AEW person's watching it. No AEW person's caring. Oh, well, they beat Private Party in an empty. No. What needs to happen is when the time comes for us to invade, we go in there, we kick someone's ass, and that's when we get a victory. And that victory is huge because it's on AEW program, it's on TNT, and it shows that this partnership isn't one-sided. This deal isn't one-sided. This whole idea that our egos, we can't hold on for 2 months to get a victory.
I'm not talking about major victories. I'm just saying something small.
No, because then that says that we can beat them on any given day. The point is to build a Goliath, to build a David for people who don't watch all the time. We're not talking. You think AEW, all 780,000, whatever it is, are avid viewers of wrestling? No, I think some of them watch it casually, as they do, as you know.
I'm just saying, Chris Bay can score one over like Jungle Boy or something. Like, just give me something.
Oh, I understand why you need it for your ego or someone else, our fragile egos as Impact fans. But being a day one fan who has seen the worst of the worst, let me mind you that, okay? Midgets jerking off in trash cans, okay? I don't know if we're gonna boot it off for that, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I've seen everything with TNA. Oh yeah, okay, stop. My bad. I apologize. Anyways, okay. There is no reason for us to get a victory. In the grand scheme of things, what storyline purpose does that fulfill if we can beat them a month in?
Well, I mean, it's not about beating them at the end. You're not putting your best guy against their best guy. You're just showing that maybe through the depth of your roster can compete. Because once again, people are saying here, the Good Brothers right now, as great as they aren't Impact.
Yeah.
Like, they're not part of Impact right now. They're teamed up with Kenny Omega as the whatever the Bullet Club right now. Like, they're not in this as part of Impact. They're basically on Kenny Omega's team and AEW's side.
That's fine. It's again fine. But if you are building a fictional, we're not talking about real life here that we all know we were going to be bought by Billy Corgan. Then let's get rid of the personal feeling and just watch it from a television show standpoint, right? No kayfabe, no dirt sheets, nothing. Forget everything you guys know. Has anyone went on national television and said, oh, Impact Wrestling has no money. Oh, they're on no channel. No one has said that. So they need to be the heels that are the Goliath. They need to set that narrative. Some people might tune in and say, oh, Impact's great because the product is great. And they'll say, why are they on a bad channel? Or they don't know that narrative until it's brought to them. So you need Tony Khan setting that. You need him becoming the heel. You have to have people make a choice between Impact and AEW, and that's what they want. They want us to get revved up. They want us to get mad and wait for that victory. But guys, it ain't coming until like 2 to 3 months. It's not going to happen, and it shouldn't. And I'm not an AEW fan. It shouldn't. You guys just have to be patient and realize it's a show. It's a television show. If the good guy got a victory 2 episodes into Smallville, I don't know. There wouldn't be 10 other seasons.
Yeah, but if
you know what I'm saying?
If 5 episodes into Smallville, every single villain is just whooping the hell out of Superman, at some point you'd be like, this Superman guy blows. Click.
No, okay, but think about that. Yeah, but that's a bad analogy because it's Superman and he doesn't blow. But what I'm saying here though is, I get where you're coming from, but in a television show, if I saw the good guy always winning, how lame of a show would that be?
I'm not talking about always. I'm not talking about Impact.
Just answer my question. How lame would that be? Would you rather see someone get beat all the time and then finally come back and win, or someone win all the time and finally lose?
I mean,
I'd rather be the people who lose all the time and then finally are the underdogs and get the victory and we have the last laugh. To each your own. If you guys want to be the losers at the end, that's cool. I prefer to be the loser in the beginning. I don't know. That's how I sum it up. To each your own. But you have to realize this is all a work, and they're making it work because you're making it work on you. That's the poem. Next question. Do we have anything else?
Okay. Not sure if I should ask this one after how that went, but yeah. Will the rumors of... I was saying, I'm not sure if I should ask this one because of how the last one went, but we'll go with it. Will the rumors of someone buying Impact ever stop, given the whole Tony Khan Ringside World BS they made up?
I mean, I don't think it'll ever stop because Impact, to me, at least now, well, so let me put it this way. So at one point, Impact was in a horrible spot. And people were like, oh, someone just needs to buy them just for their video library because of what they had in the video library. Now Impact's in a good enough spot where people are like, oh, someone should buy them and then make them, like AEW should buy Impact and make Impact its NXT. To where it's a big enough of I'm not saying they should, I'm saying that's the point that it's at. Like Impact's a big enough name that people are like, oh, buying it now is a good idea because there's talent there. So there's until Impact gets to the point where it's literally Impact, AEW, and WWE, people are always going to talk about somebody buying Impact because there is value in the company. There's value in the video library. There's value in the wrestlers. So I think that it's never going to get to the point where people are just like, this company's just going to die and go away because it has too much history. So I think it's just something that people are always going to talk about until it becomes a massive product.
Yeah, I agree with you completely there. And that's not because Impact, like you said, it's not because we're not worth anything. It's because, one, that's the narrative. But two, we are the ECW right now. Good ECW, not bingo hall ECW.
I thought that was good ECW.
Depends how you look at better.
We pay our wrestlers.
ECW is what I'm trying. Now we do.
For a while there, we were ECW.
We were ECW. Damn Dixie. Yeah, no. So I agree with you there, but I also, to an extent, will say that this narrative won't end until we stop talking about it and Tony Khan stops talking about it on air. That's the only reason. The fact that whoever, I won't give them the credit, on the dirt sheet said that they're going to buy us or are interested in buying us. Why? Unless Anthem wants to lose that out of their portfolio, they have more money than they can offer. So what is the point? I don't see that they put this much work in to get it to be a viable brand that we can agree is on that NXT level right now, to sell it when it's not at its time to be totally into fruition, right? If you sell it now, yeah, you maybe get a nice little return on it, no headache, cool, move on. But you just invested all this money in, well, it's getting better, but to Impact Plus app, right? You're already, setting the groundwork for all of these, or you built the foundation for all of these different pillars that you're building for Impact. If it's developmental or it's live tours or pay-per-views or the app, you're setting all these up. Why would you sell now? Why would you not benefit from the, reap the fruity, whatever the damn thing is? It's too late for that shit.
It's 8:30, man.
But I got a kid, bro.
It's too late for this shit. What are you, 90? But no, Chad actually pointed out that Anthem doesn't fully own Impact. Dixie still has some shares, so it is possible that Tony could
78%.
Yeah, but obviously Anthem would still have the controlling interest. But it is possible that Tony does come in and say, "Hey, I want to own a portion of Impact," which would only at that point make an AEW Impact like team up even a better thing in the past. So, or in the going in.
Yeah, they need the Snickers for a Halloween Havoc. I don't care about that. Yeah, give us money.
Hey.
VR, what is it? Morphaflex?
No, yeah, no, and I agree. I don't think he's going to fully buy Impact, but I would think it would be interesting to see him purchase some of the shares to have stock in them. So,
buy Dixie South. Yeah, go for it. Buy.
You're really angry about this stuff, man. Damn. Like you would think that I'm trying to tell you, like you put in a bid and I just told you that you can't buy Impact. Like Tony's not coming for your to take away your shares of Impact.
It's just the narrative.
So, all right, Craig. What's the next question? What question are we on? 4 or 5?
17.
I've lost track now. But quickly before we move on, Cody said that Dixie only owns 5%, and she's in a consulting job. So I mean, it wouldn't have much of a say, and plus those shares from Anthem were basically goodwill shares to Dixie. It's your company.
That's 5%. Yeah. I don't know what she's consulting. Maybe it's the Shira Shuffle. I don't know what she is helping.
Here's what you do. You go to Dixie like, Dixie, what would you do in this situation? And when she tells you, you just do the exact opposite, and you automatically know that you're putting on better product than you could.
Yeah. Well, y'all, I would.
And if we're fans of, I don't mind Dixie. I think Dixie. I'm happy that Dixie. Fulgen asked if we're fans of Dixie Carter. I'm happy. I think she helped Impact survive as long as it did. I know she's a fan of Geoff.
I love
so
Dixie. Personally.
I'm glad she's not running Impact anymore, but I think that she was very important in the growth of Impact. And I'm happy that she was the person there at the beginning and not somebody who, either A, didn't have the money to do it, or B, was thinking, this is I'm just going to do this to make money. So
I don't hate Jeff Jarrett. I don't hate Dixie Carter. I don't hate Billy Corgan. I might hate Hulk Hogan just a little bit, but I don't hate any of them. They got us to where we were. Just in our own lives, would you want to go back? Do you regret anything and change it? No, because I like who I am now, and I like Impact where it is now. And the only way we get here is, unfortunately, if someone owns us with a lot of money that takes everyone's advice and has no opinion on wrestling. except Hernandez is cute or whatever her thing was. You know, she's a great person. She was a great ambassador. You can't take away from the fact that she kept the lights on. She got us on Spike TV. She got us Kurt Angle, Sting again, and all those years of Sting that we wouldn't have gotten if it wasn't for Dixie Carter spending her money or her parents' money, whatever. And may I mention, this is for Johnny and Max, if we didn't have Dixie, we wouldn't have Surge. And there's a lot of damn good songs.
There are a lot of good songs because of Surge. But no, I think a lot of people said it. Dixie, in the end, Dixie sold to the right people. It's when you sell a company, there's a very, like, there was a large chance that she sells this to Vince McMahon, as somebody else said. She sells it to, is it Sinclair? Is that who ROH has? Yeah, if she sold it to ROH, she could have sold it to a multitude of people that could have just destroyed the product, but she didn't. She sold to Anthem, and you have Impact where it is now.
Yeah. So no, I don't dislike Dixie at all.
I know this isn't a question.
Do I want her consulting on anything?
I mean, hey, you know. Do you think Impact should try and buy ROH? Because ROH, I don't think it's on TV. I think it's on at 4:00 on Thursday. 4:00 in the morning on Thursdays is when it comes on TV here. But
I don't need to go into detail as far as how much I loved ROH and still do. We went to shows. I used to go to. I probably went to more shows of ROH than Impact. Doesn't mean I'm a bigger fan of it. That's what happened. It's closer, closer to Virginia. They were always good to us. Our friend shot for them. Or Johnny, as you guys know. So yeah, I love ROH. But let's be honest. that's the slogan of this episode. It doesn't have value. And if you say, oh, you're crazy, it has, I don't mean Sinclair doesn't have money. I mean, the brand no longer has value. Because ROH, when you think ROH besides Briscoes, all those guys are gone. And you could have said that about TNA 2 years ago. But at the same time, the difference between TNA and ROH, besides the levels they've gotten to, is that TNA put lighting on most of their pay-per-views. Okay. ROH's lighting and production, and every show I went to, you're looking for yourself in the crowd. They're pretty bad. So the amount of content they have is nowhere in comparison, or usable content, to what we have. Would I buy them to keep it open to make them our NXT? Okay, yeah, maybe it has value for that because you're training people to become wrestlers. ROH's focus is on wrestling, and they move on to us, which we, I think, polish people and put that spit shine on them before they get sent to the national television. Yeah, so in that regards, yes, but as far as give value, it's not my money. So yeah, go for it. Screw it, right?
All right.
Okay, so before we get on another tangent, let's go to the final topic. Will we start seeing more knockouts come in to fill out both divisions, like, as Hakeem suggested, Killer Kelly or Renee Michelle?
Wait,
no, Killer Kelly. Kelly's married to some hockey player. I don't think she's coming anywhere near a wrestling ring. Maybe she's running into the Royal Rumble and getting thrown out, but no, Killer Kelly.
Oh, okay, cool. Is that you, Max?
We'll go with you.
Okay. 5. It could be either. Yeah. I think Killer Kelly is already signed or on the verge of it. Now, granted, could Basil be taking pictures for her just to take pictures for her, and she's paying him? Yeah, sure. But she's taking a lot of pictures with the Impact logo stamped on them. So I would hope so. I don't know about Renee Michelle that much. I know, obviously she has the tie into Spud and she's familiar with, our brand. I don't know much of her work to not compare her to, what's the other Michelle? Candace Michelle. Is there the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that rude? I don't know. Just being honest here. So I think the opportunity's there. As far as, do we need more or are we bringing more in? I don't know if we are, besides, I think, Killer Kelly. What I would say that we need to, develop what we have first, in the sense of, look, I love Havoc Nevaeh, but like I said on last show, Fire and Flava, are on a different level. Right? Hey, Kira. They're on a different level. And that's only because they've found that gimmick or that work or that sweet spot of who they are as characters to also sell merchandise and make them larger than life characters on top of their wrestling ability. Where I think Havoc and Nevaeh might be advanced in the wrestling, they don't have that part yet. So you got to develop them and make them whatever as a package you are going to do with them too. I think Alish is always a nice fill-in. I like her role, but she could always get something bigger there. You got Tennille mixing it up with Decay now and Caleb.
With a K.
There's a lot of Decay
With a K.
and Caleb. Yeah,
It's Caleb with a K. It's not just Caleb. It's Caleb with a K.
Oh,
it's his whole name. Come on, man.
I thought you were saying Decay.
At least say his whole name.
Sorry. Jeez. I'll apologize later. DMs ruined me up. Yeah, no, yeah, okay. So as far as do we need more? Yes. I would say yes, but only after we develop ours. I know ODB's obviously on our way back too. I forgot that one. And Jazz seems to be sticking around for a little bit. So it looks like they're filling in the gaps with veterans. But maybe that's what we need since we have a lot of younger, unproven, in a sense, people. Oh, plus Kimber. Let me mention that. Kimber is just a sidekick right now, and she has a lot more to offer.
So, I mean, I definitely think Impact has always done a good job of building its knockouts division. So I think that I do definitely think that if you're a woman wrestler, at least in the U.S., in my opinion, Impact is the place to go. They give better storylines. They give more times. They treat it, much more seriously than AEW does. AEW's, I don't even know, women's division is horrible. And WWE, although WWE goes in like peaks and valleys with their women's division. Sometimes they're like, women, yeah, let's go get them, and they're like given all this time. They are building good storylines. Other time they're like, women, what are those? Like they act like they're like not even a part of their program. So I mean, I know WWE right now is doing their women's Dusty Classic. So they have like Priscilla Kelly is there. I was trying to look at what her name was in WWE. I can't remember what she is now. Gigi Dolan, that's what it is. But so she's on there. So I wouldn't be surprised if WWE starts hiring more women. But I definitely think it's going to be very similar to a lot of the people that end up going there. Is they build their roster at balloons, and then they realize, and then people that are there realize, there's nothing for me to do. I haven't been on TV in, 6 months,
right?
And they forgot that I existed. And then you leave, and I think Impact is the place. So I definitely think you could see as WWE adds more talent. I think they're going to lose talent. They lost Selena Vega, so I don't know. I think she's just on the independent circuit, but I definitely think she's an option because she was in Impact before and was former Knockouts Tag Team Champion. Interesting. So I definitely think that there's really good options for Impact to grow its Knockouts division. I think it should. And I just think that as WWE goes through their balloon and shrink phase that they always go through, that there's going to be a lot of women out there that aren't going to be happy with what's going on in WWE. Especially once Becky comes back, that she's going to push out somebody who, I mean, she's Seth's wife, so they're going to put her on TV, which means whoever was there.
Well, let's give her credit.
I know. I'm saying, but she's amazing. But I'm just saying, but even if you're like, we don't want to do anything with her. Like, she was huge before. She's Seth's wife. They're going to make sure that they bring her back strong. And
I could care less about Seth.
No, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is she'll push somebody out of being on TV, which means someone's going to go. So
I agree with you. What I'm saying though is in reference to, yes, WWE does buy them or get people in balloons and then get rid of them, and then we reap the benefits because they got that little rub in WWE and they're hot from the cut. They're the WCW of the modern day, right? Everyone that's victories are in the 50s and got the belt are in the 50s. They have a Goldberg-like character, and they have tons of people they sign and don't use. So I think that dream of going WWE has kind of wear down on people a lot. AEW is obviously having this, I think, a tournament from all around the world, and had like Japan and England and the States and stuff. So I could see some people popping up there. But I think you're right. At the end of the day, no one puts out a product for women wrestling like we do. It's plain and simple. From top to bottom, it's a better roster. So more the merrier. But even though I rambled on, the point is I'd rather us develop what we have and then pop some pieces in there. But yeah, more the merrier, I guess. Oh, that's it. That's our last topic.
Yeah. You have a little bit of time if you want to take some questions.
What's that?
I'm saying we have a little bit of time if you want to take some questions.
Yeah. Till 9. We'll still stay on till 9. It's our fault we
butchered the beginning.
Or
I mean, there were some questions in the chat. You want me to just go back and find some really good ones actually?
Yeah, let Craig pick them out. There you go, bud.
Yeah. So, from Hakeem Fullerton, H. Fullerton, do you guys want to see an all-female pay-per-view return to Impact Wrestling like Knockouts Knockdown?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be awesome. I like the all women's pay-per-views. I think it's really interesting. It gives people who normally don't get the time to really showcase who they are. It allows you, especially if you make it like a full-blown pay-per-view and you just keep you can bring other people, but work primarily your people. You can introduce new storylines that can come out of the pay-per-view too. So I think it would be huge. I also think it would be awesome, to have the Knockouts title headline that. So it's headline the pay-per-view. I think an all-women's pay-per-view, a Knockouts pay-per-view would be really, really cool.
Yeah, I think especially since WWE dropped the ball on it with theirs, Impact is very good about taking what's wrong with the wrestling world and then excelling at that specifically, because that's going to be their niche. Like, that's what they need to do. They made the women's roster amazing because, let's be frank, like you said, no one else gave a damn about it until we started to. But repeat the question one more time so I can get it. I don't want to make sure I talk.
Would you be interested in an all Knockouts pay-per-view?
Not like, did he say like Knockouts?
Yes.
Knockout, or whatever that was called.
Like.
No, I don't think that. Even though we were the first at that, I don't think it connected.
No, I'm saying you could. I'm not saying like. I'm saying if you do another one, you would.
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying you're correct. I'd rather have them.
Oh, okay. My
have
apologies.
Storylines. So no, I wouldn't. You're right. I wouldn't like them to be like those, like a one night only or anything. I'd like it to be a one night only as far as all women's lineup, but have those correspond to stuff that built up to that. So yeah, I would totally dig that. We have the ability to put together a card that doesn't seem forced or stretched thin. And I always like these times, to your credit, Max, what you're saying was, a list doesn't get time besides 3 minutes or 4 minutes and 58 seconds on TV to get her ass beat and then get pinned. If you give her 10 minutes in a different match because now that card has opened up, maybe we see something different. Maybe our perspective on her changes, or, not that there's a negative one, but just in general, right? You could see a little something on someone different that you don't usually get to see, like Kimberly. So yes, to Akeem, yes, I would love to see it. I prefer it tie in though, and it feel like we actually built to it compared to just throw it together.
Okay, Hakeem is dropping bombs questions in the chat. The next one: was there ever a moment that made you guys want to rage quit TNA or Impact?
Rage quit? I mean, when it was on, was it Destination America? Is that the station it was on before? So when it was on Destination America, I just didn't watch. Was it
Pop and
Destination? I think we watched Pop, because Pop was like channel 99 here. Because Pop is the one that had Schitt's Creek, right? Yeah, so I watched Pop. I did not watch when it was on Destination America. Did we?
You did,
Either
but
way.
it's all right.
So it was so bad I don't remember. But I stopped watching around that time periodically. It was right when you moved up to New York, whatever station it was on. I think it was still Pop or either way. But the one thing that I would say almost made me rage quit is when Abyss won the X Division title. Like I was like when Abyss won that thing, I was like, this is the man. Someone needs to run Hulk Hogan over with a car at this point. Just put him out of his misery because that was the one thing that I was like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever.
The thing, Rage. I'll tell you my Rage one, but I'll also that's a good one. I'll tell you especially since Kendrick was the savior
Yeah, I
of
know.
that
Yeah, that was a
storyline.
horrible storyline.
So Rage quit. Maybe when Large Val Venus came out there, and beat Daniels. Yeah, that sucked. That hurt my feelings really very badly. But as far as Rage quit, no. Other than that, joking around. I mean, I've been there since day one, and I say that because it literally has been since I was yeah, I'm old. 15, 14, 15. So I've it's part of the fabric of me. But as far as actually quitting, like the only time is that time frame that you forgot about.
Because I didn't watch
which
it.
is when they did that. Well, we did. But they taped all those matches and then they made this fake tournament using all the matches and it was a stadium. Craig, do you know what that was called?
What?
It was like who was it? Sanjay and right? I think it was Sanjay and Josh in the studio and they were doing the tournament. It was just taped matches.
Yeah, when JB
Hardy
left to retape. Yeah, can't remember, but yeah, I know what you mean.
But either way, it was like a tournament, and they had women versus man, which they were
also
the
world title tournament.
There you go. Like that's easiest name. But yeah, no, they had that, and that's the only time where I didn't give a crap if I tuned in or not, just because it was pre-taped matches. It had no buzz. Did I watch them or taped afterwards? Yeah, I watched them all, but wasn't missing anything. So unfortunately, yeah, but no rage.
Yeah, that's it. The world title series.
There you go.
That was the one where they had Grader when I think it was Spud trading off crappy finishes.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, crap. But yeah. So what have we got? From Villain Killer, aka our good friend Lucha. What are your thoughts on Susan?
The character in general is clever. You know, it's not being done in wrestling, the Karen or the Susan. But it reminds me of that old Sarah Palin skit we did in TNA when we brought someone in. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe I just don't want Su Young's third character to be that. But I'm not a huge fan of it. I like the idea, but why is she with Deanna and Kimber? I don't know. I don't like the pairing. I don't like the presentation of it. Now, granted, when she was taping things and she tapes with her phone, that's fine. I'll mark out for that. But I like my Su Young. I like my Susie.
I kind of agree with you in the fact that like her first two characters are so good that this third one is kind of like a step or two down. Like maybe if it wasn't her doing it, I would think that it was better. Someone who I wasn't like, oh, we have Su Young, we have Susie, they're here, and then I'm like, nah. Like maybe if it was just like a new wrestler and that was just her niche or something like that, maybe I would feel a little bit better about it. But I kind of agree that the other two are so good. It's funny because it is the Karens are always the type of people that you're like, oh my, like when you see videos of them, you're like, I just can't stop watching this train wreck of a person. But it's so things like that are funny. And like you said, the filming. But I agree, it's just kind of meh for me. By the way, for some reason, our chat blotted out "Bound for Glory." It said it was profound or it was obscene language. I don't know why I had to adjust that. I'm logged into our
Dolphin-
I'm logged into our obviously under our name,
Yeah.
and when it was GS7 was like it was called the Bound for Glory series. It was called the Bunch of Stars series. I was like, why is this? I was like, what did he say this thing was? It's like it's profane. It's like I was like, okay, it's profanity. I was like
It
Bound
wasn't.
for Glory. Like, man, that's
It wasn't. It wasn't that bad of a.
yeah.
It
I was
wasn't
like,
that
come
bad.
on now. So. Yeah, it was just I guess the settings I had set up for the under our at least for what it shows me logged into the thing was weird. So
All right, Craig, what else you got, bud?
from Cody, was
Yeah,
anyone else stunned when Matt Hardy returned last week? I know I was.
Stunned? Yes. As far as happy, no, and I'll tell you why. We've been through a legal, a mental, a physical, a everything you could think of battle with Matt Hardy, the human being and the character, over the past 5 years. Right? Has it been 5 years? I don't know what it's been. He's crapped on the company. He's almost tanked the company. There's been so many that he saved the company, and then he goes away, right? And then we're the bad guy, and all that happens. You come back to our show. You come back as Broken Matt Hardy and give us something. We don't want you coming out there with your latest AEW corny gimmick, and it's not even a good big money Matt. It's him out there with some. It was like cheesy music. I don't know. Surprised, yes. To answer the question, not go off on a tangent. Yes, I was surprised, but I was not happy.
yeah, I mean I was surprised. I mean
Like
I think outside of like Omega, then this is the first like non-Omega Don Callis AEW person, right? Has anybody else shown up? I don't think so.
besides like Tony.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying,
Tony's not.
yeah, those two. But I'm talking about like actual AEW wrestlers. Like these are them with Private Party is the first ones. I'm not. There's nobody I'm missing. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I was surprised he showed up. Sure, I was like, what's he doing? But I don't know. Just hey, I brought some dudes to wrestle for a tag title. Like, like, hi, Matt. Like, what are you doing here? Like, it's a similar thing.
Hey, I'm the guy who.
Yeah, like, and unfortunately, if he would have come back, I really want Broken Matt Hardy. Like, that's to me of all the Matt Hardys, that's probably like the peak of Matt Hardy is Broken Matt Hardy.
I like my Matt Hardy eating
Right, you're an idiot.
grapes. That's what I like.
But yeah, I mean, I was surprised he came back. Yeah, but was I like happy or excited that it happened? No, like.
And, here, real quick. So he came back with. I put this tweet out. It didn't get much likes. I don't know why. Because
It's a banger.
It's a gold nugget. It's a banger. Okay, so they're trained by Amazing Red, right? Okay.
Okay.
Max, you got me. Okay, this is
Okay.
for you. So they're trained by Amazing Red, and their wrestling shows it. This isn't verbatim,
Okay.
but I'm telling you. But their gear is really bad. I think it was made by Sangriento.
So the reason why that didn't get very much likes is no one knows who Sangriento is.
That's the mystery of
Like,
Sangriento.
wasn't he? So
Is he
was he purple and yellow? Is that what? Was that his colors?
You could tell me he was
so.
doo-doo brown. I don't remember. I don't want to remember, but I believe you're right. It was purple and yellow, and it was like fabric that was left over from Tommy Dreamer's singlet or something, and they just stuck it to his and just sent him out there. And then Amazing Red would wrestle the same night.
I found him.
Hogan. Can you
I'm
show
about
him on
to.
the
Hold
screen?
on, give me a second.
Are we going to break
I
the show?
don't think so. We'll find out.
It's a
We're
nine.
about to be
Yes,
done.
please.
So if we break it, image.
All right.
Game over.
Now 2:00 for Craig, right?
Yeah, 2 a.m. exactly.
For all of our people watching who have no clue who Sangriento was, that is what Sangriento looked like.
There we go. He looks like the Mexican wrestler you get at Dollar Tree. You know what I mean? Like they're.
And now our stream is going to end. Everyone's going to leave.
Yeah.
What's that?
And now everyone's
All right, let's do one more question, then we'll call it a night.
Okay. So, okay, from GS7 _89, have you guys watched Impact from the TNA weekly pay-per-view days?
Yeah. June 20, is it June 26th, 2002? I always get around Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah, I was there. That was one of my biggest things, and I really don't go too deep into it, but when I was 14, 15, my mom would let me every Wednesday. I'd be with my brother Buddha, and he's much younger than me, by the way. He's 19 now. I'm 34, so 15 years difference. So we would get it every Wednesday. We get the same pizza. It was a big thing. Every Wednesday, I watched every piece of Impact content since day one, honestly. Was I happy to sometimes? No, as we've already made a mention. But yeah, I love the Asylum years. I love even though I crap on it, I love the Hogan years. I love the Dixie years. I'm a homer. I'm an unbiased homer, but I'm a homer nonetheless.
I did not. I started watching it. I guess it was when the television show Impact came out. It would have had to have been AJ. So I don't want to remember.
I think
I'm saying it would have been Fox Sports Net because it was still Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, AJ. I remember watching Abyss go to throw AJ under the. Was that what it was? Where he threw? Yeah, he's sitting there. So I remember watching that. But yeah, it would have been the Fox Sports areas when I started watching it, and then obviously hang out with you. We watched it on Spike. But yeah, I did not watch. My family did not have the money, unfortunately, to buy weekly pay-per-views. The only way I got to see even WWE pay-per-view was by watching it scrambled and listening and pretending.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you told your mother you were watching with your tinfoil hat. It's just as bad. Oh man, we're gonna end it off on that. And no, we didn't have money, Max. You should know better. It was fun. Thank you for sticking with us, guys. I keep seeing things go down. I can't read what you're saying, but it's been fun. We're going to do this every Saturday night, a little cleaner each week, especially my mouth. Sorry about that. Love you, Twitch. This will be on YouTube by tomorrow, and spread the word. Stay tuned for everything we have coming up. We have our unboxing video for our last crate winner coming up, and she won some really cool stuff. Nails in New York there. We have the Pinfall Classic coming up, so go vote on that still. We have the game show coming back with Lucha and some great prizes. And Impact the Cult coming Tuesday with Ashley Rose Nova. So bunch to coming up on the TNAIW channel. I'm going to go to sleep now.
All right, Craig, you want to say anything to everybody before we leave?
Just, you know what to do. Follow us. Do the whole thing. Click here and follow us to make sure you don't miss us when we go live again. Just do the whole thing. We'll see you all very, very soon.
Later, guys.